everyone, my name is Emily Wieser, and today I'm going to be talking about ways to teach different gifted students. So, first, let's look at what is a gifted student. So, gifted students are any student that learns faster and at an earlier age, and they understand concepts that are above their grade level. And when teachers don't understand their giftedness, then their education can be a waste because they're not learning things that are beneficial to them. Instead, they're learning at the regular level. About 6 to 10% of students are gifted, and teachers can accommodate these students by making accommodations in the classroom, grouping students within the same grade or the same learning level, and by accelerating them or putting them in a higher grade. And also, when the teacher understands their giftedness, it's going to benefit the student more because they're going to be getting lessons and content that they should be learning rather than things they already know. And they can also praise their work because that goes a long ways. So, understanding the social emotional needs of gifted students, some characteristics of gifted students that you can see are they often dream of problems that are above their ability of learning. They try to impress their parents and teachers constantly. They exhibit high expectations of themselves and of others, and they're slow workers sometimes due to the fact of them being perfectionists. And they also have behavior problems due to being bored in the classes because if they're not getting a class where they're learning rich content, then they become bored. They can also be seen as experience a feeling of parents and teachers expect them to be perfect all the time. They're often teased by their peers for being too smart. They worry about world problems and they feel helpless, like they can't do anything about them. And oftentimes people keep giftedness as a secret. So many teachers and parents don't understand what giftedness is really about and ways that they can help them. So, what can teachers do to teach these gifted students? They can identify their giftedness, create projects or assignments for students to do when they finish their work, conduct informal assessments, and provide educational alternatives. So, no two students who are both gifted are going to be similar, so it's really important for teachers to get to know each gifted student and treat them as a new individual and work on doing activities and creating lessons that are going to fit that individual student. Also, there's asynchronous development, which is also part of the giftedness. And the definition is the child's minds are developing at one rate while the bodies and emotions are developing at another. So, oftentimes, the students who have this have intellectual abilities that are advanced, but their fine motor skills and social skills are somewhat lagging. So, the more highly gifted the student, the more asynchronous they may be. So, what can we do to benefit these students? Understanding that one size does not fit all for gifted students and students with similar skills. So, it's really important to know that just because two students are both gifted does not mean they're going to need the same needs. It's very likely that they are going to be very different. One may excel in one area while the other one does poorly in that one. So, understanding each student individually. And an example of a student you might see in the classroom is someone who is excellent in math but does poor in English, or vice versa, or amongst different subjects. So, you also want to understand the different ages of mental, emotional, and the physical parts of the child. Because, as we mentioned, some parts in this slide we had said oftentimes their intellectual abilities are advanced, but their fine motor skills and social skills can be lagging. So, it's important to know how old the child is mentally, how old they are emotionally, and physically. Because a child could be in the first grade and be at a fifth grade English level. Their emotional skills could be at a third grade English or a third grade level, and their fine motor skills could be in TK. So it's really important to know that all of those levels aren't equal when it's an asynchronous development. And it's really important to treat these children as normal because they don't want to feel any more different than they already can feel when they are interacting with their peers. So, in conclusion, teachers need to understand the giftedness of students to create a supportive and challenging curriculum. This is really important to, as we said earlier, to take away the boredom in the classroom. It's also important to understand that no two gifted children are alike. Each one needs to be treated individually. The teacher should be creating lessons and projects and adaptations for each student based on their abilities. And it's really important for teachers to understand the pressures that these students are under because the students have different social emotional needs, and it's really important to understand giftedness in its whole and understand each individual child so that the teacher can accommodate these children and provide a environment where the children are going to excel.